Hi, my name is Winnie. This is Inmigración Descifrado, and today we are here with Valerie Monaco, who is the ISS director at Barnard. Today we're going to ask her some questions about her journey to Barnard and just more about the immigration procedure here, how it works, how students who are interested in becoming immigrants perhaps in the future are able to learn about America and the opportunities they have here while in college. So first off, we have the first question. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming an advisor for international students at Barnard?
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Winnie, for having me. First of all, I joined Barnard about a year and a half ago as the Director of International Student Services, but my journey in international education really began in 2016. So my entire career I've been working in student affairs and different higher education institutions. And I started out as a career advisor, and then I moved on to academic advising with increasing responsibility. And then at my previous institution where I worked, our International Student Services, which was a one-person office, and in many cases at many institutions across the country, that's the case. That one person ended up vacating her role, and it needed to be filled immediately. The International Student Services is a very highly compliant type of office or organization, so it really needs someone in place to ensure that all of the immigration records are being maintained and are accurate and so forth. And so I was asked by my leadership at my previous institution if I would be interested in stepping into that role, and I knew it would require a big learning curve, learning and understanding and then being able to apply federal regulations and how they mesh with the institutional policies in place. And as an in-person, or as a one-person office rather, how I would take leadership over this big function at my institution. But I accepted the offer, and I used that summer to really learn as much as I could and just embrace any type of training opportunity that I could that was in person. And then, slowly but surely I gained confidence in international student advising. Slowly my one-person department expanded to two and a half really. And it was a great experience. And then, of course, the pandemic came, and that shook up so many things on the immigration landscape and, of course, for international students. And so a lot changed and a lot happened. But we navigated through that. And then I was looking for an opportunity that had different types of challenges. I was looking for an opportunity at an institution that really embraced or paid more attention to campus internationalization. And I found that here at Barnard, so I joined about a year and a half ago.
That's amazing. And can you walk us through how an international student, for example, at Barnard, what the pathway looked like for them?
Yeah, so when an international student is accepted to Barnard by international admissions, they fall right into our lap, and so we take care of that student from the time they're accepted all the way past graduation, sometimes even 1, 2, or even 3 years after they've graduated. They might still be in our caseload. And the reason for that, Winnie, is that as soon as they're accepted, the student is typically, overseas or across the border if they're coming from Canada or Mexico, and they need to apply for their F1 visa. And in order to do that, they need what's called a Form I-20, which is basically a certificate of eligibility. It's kind of like a contract between the college, the federal government, and the student, and we're all in agreement that the student is coming to the United States to study at Barnard for the purpose of obtaining a degree. And because of the timeline and students needing to travel and get their visa and processing and all of this, they want to work on this very quickly. So we're actually in that process for our fall 2024 incoming students right now. We have students that we're issuing that paperwork for, and then we keep in touch with them throughout the whole summer. We have virtual pre-departure sessions. These students are part of our pre-orientation program, so they arrive really by the third week of August, and they have that extra time to kind of get adjusted to living and studying in New York City. get adjusted to language differences, cultural differences, environmental differences, so much. And then throughout the time of their academic journey, we help the student with wherever they are. They might be looking for on-campus work. They might be looking to do an internship and need authorization for that. They might need help with applying for a Social Security card. So we support them with all of that. And that's kind of one aspect of our role is compliance. But then the other aspect is ensuring that the students are adjusting just to living and studying in New York City. So we have different types of welcome programs, programs that celebrate their identity or the identity of the international student at Barnard. And we have this throughout their entire time. And then when they're nearing graduation, they can apply for different work authorizations that can go on for a year or even up to 3 years after they've graduated. So they're with us for a long time.
Amazing. And what steps do you take to ensure that you are matching changes in immigration policy, for example, because I know it's just always evolving and rapidly shifting. So how do you ensure that students are able to kind of just be aware of those changes as they happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So changes definitely happen. We have to make sure we have a good pulse on any changes that are happening in immigration, particularly that affect our F1, our degree seeking, or our J1 visiting students. Mm-hmm. So that involves making sure we're keeping up with our reading of immigration policy, any changes in regulation, attending trainings that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security offers. So we have those, throughout the year, and also making sure we're in touch with what our peer institutions are doing. A lot of immigration is black and white, but there are definitely a lot of shades of gray as well. So a lot of it is about, seeing what are the best practices, especially for, other peer institutions, other schools in our area. What are other institutions doing regarding those shades of gray, so that we are carrying out policy or implementing policy that is comparable to what other institutions are doing.
That's amazing. And what have you learned about the immigration process, like as you are helping these students as an advisor?
Yeah, it's certainly very jarring for a lot of our international students that may be coming from countries where this type of, bureaucracy or red tape, is unexpected or can be seen as being excessive. So a lot of what we try to do is really set students' expectations from the very beginning on what's to come. Some students, they come or they're accepted to the college and they come thinking like, I'm coming to live and study in New York City. This is the American dream. Everything's going to be fantastic. And of course, the reality is that there's going to be hardship. It's expensive to do laundry and to go grocery shopping and to do simple things like that. It might not be as easy making American friends as one might think it might be. So what we do is we try to prepare the students as much as we can. We partner with local organizations such as One to World in New York City, which is fantastic. And we try to help students figure out how to navigate not just, living and studying at Barnard, but Columbia, living in New York City itself, so that they feel comfortable. They're going to spend, at least 4 years here. So we want to make sure that, they're able to navigate that comfortably.
And what are some of your most memorable experiences as an advisor here at Barnard?
I think, just seeing students grow so much, personally, professionally, from the time that they come in as, a nervous or apprehensive first-year student coming in for orientation or pre-orientation, and then seeing the culminating experience when they're graduating is really incredible. Orientation always happens to be, one of my favorite programs or activities to run for the students, because I feel like the students are just so eager to soak up everything that they can about what it is to be a successful student. And that means what it is to be a successful student varies from student to student. But for international students, we want them to be able to have access to the resources they need to thrive academically, but also be comfortable in the social landscape. We want them to be able to make friends, to know where to go to for support for different areas, and to really build up their board of directors as they're here.
That's amazing. And what is some advice you would give to anyone interested in the ISS role, for example, that you have right now at Barnard?
Yeah, I think it's really important for anyone who's interested to check out and be a part of any local organization. So the one I mentioned, One to World, is fantastic. NAFSA is really the leader for professional organizations that deal with international education. So that's not just ISS offices, but even study abroad. I would encourage anyone to tap into their skill set. If they speak a foreign language, if they ever have had a study abroad experience, or if they've ever lived abroad, all that is an asset to working in the ISS field. And even, professional networking, like if you look in your network on LinkedIn and can connect with somebody who works in student affairs or study abroad or ISS, and even just asking to do like an informational interview. People have reached out to me on LinkedIn about that, and most people, I think, are happy to talk about themselves and their experience. Yeah. So I think, that's a good way for anyone who's willing to start getting a better sense of, how to enter this field. And also, like NAFSA, they offer, discounted rates for membership for newcomers in the field, or for students. So there's definitely a lot of resources like that.
That sounds amazing. Actually, can you expand more upon the One-to-One World that you were program you were referring to? Because I don't think I've heard of it before, but I know it's very local to New York. So I wanted to know, like, how did maybe Barnard find out about it, or were you the one who found out about it and told Barnard about it?
Yeah, so One to World is a fantastic local organization, New York City based, but they really serve New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, but they're really New York City based. And at my previous institution, we worked with them very extensively. They serve multiple purposes. So it's basically a group for all international educators in the New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, the tri-state area to come together. We have monthly meetings to do exactly that, to talk about any updates. We have an immigration attorney who comes and provides us with any legal updates, any trends that we see and we're not sure, how to move forward or how to guide students, if it's especially regarding like an employment authorization. It's a nice, comfortable place to bring to the table and say, hey, I'm seeing this. Are any other institutions seeing this here? Usually there are. So it's a good think tank for that purpose. But they also offer a number of different services and opportunities for international students and scholars in New York City, including support with off-campus housing, workshops on career development, public speaking, English for individuals where English is their second language, and also different types of excursions and outings. So we have sent students on some of those. So we sent students on a trip for like a private tour of the Met. We sent some students to that in November. We're sending some students to a Yankees game in April. They have different types of U.S. Conferences that they can send students to. So it's a really great opportunity for our students to have their own student membership as well. And then it helps them not only connect with international students at Barnard, Columbia, but international students across the whole New York City area.
That's amazing. I love the fact that there's such a wonderful opportunity like that available for students to integrate into American culture and New York in general. But yeah, thank you so much for this interview. I don't think I have any more questions, and it was just fantastic having you on.
Oh, thank you so much, Winnie. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.